Hey, welcome back. Steve AZ 711 here. Well, today I'm going to put this control arm on this side of the Chevy HHR. If you're not using an impact driver to remove the wheel, break the lug nuts first before you jack the vehicle up. Remember to block the rear tires, put the parking brake on as well. First thing I need to do is to take the bolt here loose, holds the ball joint on. Now the back side is a 15 millimeter and the front side is about a 16 millimeter, but I found that I can get away with a 5/8 impact socket. Next, I need to remove this bolt here and then the one on the back side right here. They're both 15 millimeters. Those are some long-winded bolts. Amazing, it just fell right out. Now what I have to do, take this bolt out. That is a 21 millimeter socket. That looks like something you put in a fence post or a gate. Now I suppose I just have to weasel the arm out of there. This is the bad ball joint. Over here is a broken rear bushing. And so here's the new one compared to the other one. Okay, I use my little tool here. I think that bolt is lined up enough to go in. Look how it's got that little taper on it so you don't make a mistake with it. I'm going to put some lubricant on that. Anyway, it's probably tapered, so you could probably hit it and it would center itself into its spot or something. Because it looks to me like that's what I'm going to have to do here. Okay, you can hear that. I suggest doing it with a socket wrench or by hand till you know you got it. Anyway, what I did is I left those bolts out entirely. I was able to push this in, the ball joint in a little bit once I had the hole lined up here. So I guess what I'm saying is I put this bolt in first, then I lined this up over here, the ball joint, and then my next attack will be the front bolts, the 15 millimeters. None of these will be down to torque. I'll come back and give you those torque readings later. I just pushed it over with my thumb. And it went right up in there. You can see inside the hole here, there's a groove that bolt's got to go through, so this will have to be pushed up in there with a little pressure on it. I positioned the jack underneath the ball joint, piece of wood, and I'm going to see if raising it a little bit. What I'm doing, I'm looking in the hole, making sure that the groove is perfectly centered and I can slide the bolt in. So we'll be able to put these in a little further now. I think I'll put them down a little closer with the impact wrench. It's now time to tighten these bolts down to torque. Had an overnight rainstorm, got some rust on the rotor. I'll be following the torque sequence and procedure in the 2006 Chevy HHR shop manual. Okay, using a 3/8 extension, it gives me a little working room around the back part here, the knuckle. And this is a 15 millimeter socket. Okay, that's to get it started. Now I need to put the torque wrench on it. As you can see, I used a few different adapters to go from 3/8 to 1/2 inch to fit the torque wrench and the socket. Anyway, 37 foot-pounds. There it is. And you loosen it up. Go again, 37 foot-pounds. You can hear it click. That's my torque wrench. Now I got to go 30 degrees more. Well, we know where 90 would be. We know where 45 would be, so 30 is not very much. Probably about like that. Now I will tell you that I did not have to hold the head of the bolt on the other side at all. And now it's time to go and tighten this bolt up here. That is called the rear flange bolt. It's 74 foot-pounds plus 180 degree rotation. Okay, the torque wrench is set 74 foot-pounds and the socket is a 21 millimeter. 74 foot-pounds. That's right there. Now I have to loosen it up. Okay. Now I go 74 foot-pounds again. Okay, plus it wants 180 degrees. That's a half a turn past 74 foot-pounds. So, well, that's pretty darn tight. Not sure that was 180 degrees, but it's tight enough. Next, these need to be put down to torque, both of those bolts, called front frame bolts. They're 41 foot-pounds, and you only got to make one pass on those, and I believe they're 15 millimeter. I'm going to tighten them up a little bit with a socket wrench. And then I'll put the torque wrench on them. Wow, that was 41 foot-pounds. Let me check that. Yeah. Okay, 41 foot-pounds. Go back, check the back side. Okay, well, I believe that is that. Lower control arm is now in. Okay, a little recap. After I got the new control arm in, I went and put the ball joint in, and I used the jack to get it seated up in there so the bolt can slide into this groove. And then I mounted the frame bolts here. Neither of these two were tight. And then I found out that this piece here, when I looked at it, it was cattywampus like that after it was pushed in. So in order for me to get it straight up and down like that, I had to take ball joint loose, and I had to take the frame bolts completely loose. Then I went underneath with this tool like this, or you can use a screwdriver, a long Phillips maybe. And I weaseled it around and I got it straight up and down, and then I drove the bolt pin home and tightened it up as you saw on the video. And then I went back, and then this piece here, the ball joint, it just went right up in by hand. I was able to slide the bolt right through really, really easy. And then push the rotor assembly and everything towards the frame, and these bolts just lined up really nice and easy, and I put those in loose too. And then you just saw the repair finish up with the torque readings in the order that they should be done. So until the next video, I hope all your control arms go, repairs go really well, and I'm probably going to end up putting some pads in there. But until the next video, this is Steve AZ711 saying thanks everyone for subscribing and for watching, and I'll see you on the next video, and bye for now.